This afternoon protesting what they call poor living in campus conditions. The school recently announced it stopped contract negotiations with Ed Reed as head football coach.
The former NFL star posted on social media talking about the campus's conditions when he visited. News 6's Molly Reed was at the student protest today and shows what they want to see.
The students here at Bethune Cookman say Ed Reed's videos sparked the idea for the protest, but say they've been living in poor conditions for quite a few years. They say Ed brought that to a bigger stage.
You know, we voice concerns, we send emails all the time, no responses. So this is what it has come to.
Shouting the Board of Trustees has got to go. The BCU students listed out the problems around campus, many sharing videos and pictures that show mold in the dorm's walls and ceilings and on their belongings.
I paid thousands of dollars out of my pocket to be here, and it's not taken care of. The first couple months I was here, I literally was sick because of the mold.
The protest comes after former NFL player Ed Reed posted a video on social media.
But now I'm out here walking with the football team, picking up trash.
Reed was in contract negotiations with the school to become the next head football coach. He was on campus where he says he was met with trash and poor conditions.
Get out of here, man. They mutt me. These didn't even clean my office when I got here.
Then over the weekend, the school announced they stopped negotiations with Reed and are reopening the search. Reed was seen in another social media video shortly after.
There are some corrupt people in this world, some evil people that don't care about kids like I do.
At the end of the day, he wants to change for not just the football team, but he wanted for the HBCU community, the BCU community. So I feel like it's just a slap in the face.
Football players and students disappointed by the announcement and say Ed Reed was right.
The way a lot of us see it, he spoke up against what was wrong, and they got rid of him because of it.
We've reached out to the school's representatives several times today for a reaction, but have not heard back at this time. In Daytona Beach, Volusia County, I'm Molly Reed, getting results, News 6.
Welcome back to the Sexy Cigar Lounge. I am your host at J.W. King, a.k.a. JJ. Man, I got my real live brother in here, man. I got my brother in here, Gino James, man. I got my cousin in here, DeAndre Stenson. I got my best friend in here, man, Kalonji, Gil Chris. Man, I got my big brother, Rock. And I got my dog, Brent, man. What's up, fellas?
What up?
What's going on, brother?
Coolin'.
Let's go.
Hey, man, we got a good show tonight, man. I brought these guys on here, man, because they are my family, and I wanted to get a different perspective on this Ed Reed situation. And you know, we're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it 100. Everybody don't agree with what I think, and I don't agree with what everybody else thinks. So it should be a hell of a show, man. All right, let's get it, man. KG, what you think about this whole situation, man?
I think that clip was a good synopsis of kind of what's going on from I guess a couple of different angles, right? So you got the students already in an uproar, and then Ed speaking out on it, and of course we see what happens from it. Now, my primary issue with Ed, and I think there's a couple things that's going on that I don't know if the general public, unless you just kind of just following Twitter or whatever, right? Or whatever on that side, you may miss some things. I think that while the message is legit, sometimes the messenger, and I think in this case the messenger wasn't the right person. Well, yeah, he ain't doing it the right way. I should say it that way. That's kind of what in a nutshell. And I think there's some reasons for that too. I ain't gonna get into that. We can kind of circle back into that, but that's my overall. I think the message is valid, and we got to look at what his hangups are too, because he spoke to some specific hangups, and I think that's because of some issues that he has with those particular things that set him off. I think it was one of those triggers for him, and so while you look at him and see him interviewing in other places, but if you know, like anybody, you got a trigger, you might get out of character if you trigger the way. And so that's what I think about the whole situation.
Whew. Hey, man, I agree with a lot of what you said, man. Gino, my little brother, what you think about this whole situation, man?
Well, first, it's a lot of the unknown. I'm a big fan of Ed Reed. I played against him. I think he's one of the best players to ever play his position, which is safety. So I'm a big fan of his. I have a lot of respect, but in this situation, I think he's totally wrong. And when I say wrong, I mean that you have to look at all the situations, and we can go deeper. And I think this situation, it really brings up more to me. He's bringing up a situation in our community that's deeper than what we really can even see. First of all, for him to even go on social media and expose Bethune Cookman like that, and I think that was kind of messed up. Like, you're in a job, you're about to be hired by this university as a head coach to go on social media, and I saw where the reason why he did this video was in response of what people were saying to him online, which is still kind of screwed up, because you got people who don't give a damn on social media, just like responding to him, just don't care, and he's responding in anger. And there has to be some type of professionalism as a head coach when you're asking parents for their children to come to this university. And what he exemplified was, I think, was not what you want in a head coach. And I just end it there.
That's a whole lot to
Gino,
deal with, bro.
Gino, you said a lot there, right? And I would disagree with you on a couple things, right?
Mm-hmm.
One, Ed Reed was frustrated with the response he was getting for things that were happening on campus, right? I believe Ed's a college-educated man. He's played in the NFL. He understands chain of command. He understands how processes and systems work. And if the system was working, then I don't think there would have been no reason for him to go to social media and go speak out and out to school, right? So you have to accept that Ed did this in response that conventional channels of getting an issue addressed wasn't getting the issue addressed. So I asked you, Gino, what do you do when you go through the proper channels to get the issue addressed and it's not being addressed through proper channels?
Well, he was only there for like 25 days, and he was going through a process. He hadn't even been hired yet. He was going through negotiation. So
I asked the question.
He wasn't able to even go through the proper channels.
Gino, the ink ain't even wet on his contract.
Yeah, the ink ain't even wet on his contract yet.
But my question is, what do you do when you ask the leadership that you work for, who are hiring you, to address an issue that's happening and they're unresponsive or they're ignoring you? What do you do?
Rocky, he's only been there for 25 days. The reason why they brought him there is for his so-called leadership. Like
So
they're bringing him there for a change. You have to understand also, you have to look behind the scenes and understand that this is already a HBCU that is really underfunded. So first of all, when he was getting the job, like, damn, dude, you ain't go and look at the facilities when you was looking at the job. Like, this your first time seeing this? Like, what the hell were you doing when you was looking at this job?
I think Mr. Stinson was
nobody's
trying to jump in there
nobody
too,
wants
Rob.
to answer my question. What do you do when you ask for an issue to be addressed through proper channels? Use the athletic director, the associate dean of athletics, or and go to the president, and you get no response. The issue is not getting addressed, right? And it's a urgent issue. It's just not an issue that can be glossed over. It's an urgent issue. It's creating health and safety situations for your students, faculty, and staff. What do you do if they're not being addressed?
I think Mr. Stinson has something to say. Yeah.
I feel like, he had no other choice but to go to social media. That's the only way the light was going to be brought to it. Because at the end of the day, if he went to the administration and they hadn't been doing anything, I mean, you gotta bring it to social media. That's the only way anybody's gonna know about it.
All right. I think we got cut through the butter here. You know what I mean? Doggone. Ed Reed seen that the debacle that went on with Deion Sanders leaving JSU. You know what I mean? Let's put things in perspective. This is a university that just went through 2 hurricanes in the last semester. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that's going on at that school. But just like when you invite the snooty auntie to Thanksgiving, you know what I mean? Talking about she don't eat chillins. Ed Reed went down there and showed the Django looking ass. He hopped on goddamn social media, and change ain't gonna happen overnight. You know what I mean? The ink ain't even wet on the man's contract.
You sound just like those HBCU Negroes all the time.
This is what I'm saying, Rock. This is what I'm saying, Rock. It is an HBCU. We understand HBCUs by and large are underfunded. You speak, and some are better than others. You know what I mean? He went down there, and I mean that's not the way you do it. He up here talking about let's dispatch a field over here. You can't run a slant on that shit. You know what I mean? Like he just basically embarrassed the whole damn administration.
Well, here's my issue with Negroes in general, and this is what I was getting to. Y'all so concerned about decorum and making sure things are done in a proper manner, but when you have years of neglect and mismanagement, you ain't got shit to say about that. You want to jump on Ed Reed about decorum and doing things the proper way when you've had years of mismanagement and neglect.
Rocky, what's the proper way? The dude went on social media, first of all. Who you know? Hold on, Rocky, I'm going to ask you one question, okay? I'm going to ask you one question. If Ed Reed went to an underfunded white university, I'm going to ask you this. Do you think he would have went on social media and did that?
Okay. So let me ask you a question. I will say this, Gino, unequivocally. I don't think he would have done it, but not for the reason you think he wouldn't have done it. I think he would just packed his shit up and left because he would feel like he owes them nothing and he would have just left the damn school. But because that's the HBCU, he felt obligated or connected, or he was doing a service to that school.
He talked down on them. He made the situation worse. He
embarrassed the whole administration.
That was the point. That was the point.
He named
what
names.
set it off? What
that
set
was
it off? What was the set off point? Like, what was the first thing that set him up? Was it the field or the field?
No, I come to find out that what the initial thing that happened was, so they were cleaning during that weekend. They were cleaning up that Friday, whatever. They were cleaning up the area. He realized that the area that he wanted to use for the practice field still had trees and debris all over it or whatever, right? So he had got a contractor that he had met in Baltimore who was now living in Florida to clean out that area so that they can start, excavating the trees and all that kind of stuff to get the practice field fixed. Well, there was a fence on the property line where the homeless people would live right outside that area. Well, he wanted the school to fix the gate where the homeless people will walk in. See, the homeless people will walk in and ask the students for money and all that kind of stuff, right? And so he wanted that gate shut off where they couldn't come back and forth.
This is near the practice field.
Yeah. Well, near the practice, near where the proposed practice field, because it's not a practice field now, it's where he was gonna make the on-campus practice field. Well, make a long story short, the people told him that they would fix the gate. They didn't fix the gate. They made a mockery of the situation, and that set him off. Because he, of course, at that point, the people who's supposed to fix the gate is essentially saying that the administration is saying that I don't have to fix the gate, and I'm not fixing the gate, so I don't have to fix the gate. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where he realizes that, oh, these people are all in this thing together, and they gonna make this shit much harder on me than it has to be already. I done got contractors here excavating trees, cleaning off bushes, trying to create an on-campus practice field, and they trying to make my job even harder. And I think that set him off, because I believe he was told when he came there, we're gonna do everything in our power to make sure that you have everything you need within our ability. And I think fixing a gate was not beyond the
sound like
possibility.
HBCU.
Beg your pardon?
I said that sound like every HBCU. We gonna give you all the resources that you need till we get you here.
Well, in their ability, like, it's only so much. You have to understand, it's only so much money that they have to do something like that.
Well, we're not talking about building a multi-million-dollar facility. We're talking about fixing a gate. If they can't fix a gate in a day, or at least let's not say fix the gate. Let's say repair the fence where people just can't walk on the campus without going through the front gate. Like, to me, that, like Ed Reed saying, that's a safety concern. That's not just about him wanting to have a safe practice field. That's about, wanting a practice field. That's a safety concern, because that means that homeless people can walk in on campus, harass the students for money, and also it's actually right where the track girls and boys practice, right? And just think if something happened to one of those track boys and girls, and one of those homeless people actually did something, and then how would that look on the school, right? My point is, student safety should always be the first priority of a campus, and I think Ed Reed knew that. He's been at the University of Miami. He's been in the NFL. He knows how the basics should work, Gino. And I'm saying, and this is what I'm saying to you, Gino. I think he went through conventional measures to get this repaired, and they just was not hearing. They failed to address his issue, and like KG said, it triggered him.
So, real quick. So, one thing that may be a reason for like the slow response to it. So I had this issue with not too long ago where we had to get some estimates on a fence around this area. Urban garden, we wanted to protect the space. And so we went down this whole drill about what type of, like, is this going to be a long-term fix, a short-term? Do we put this regular wire fence up that was like $40,000? The space wasn't that big. $40,000. No, was it 40? Maybe it was like $60,000 for a wire fence. Well, no, we want to get the raw iron fence, a wrought iron fence. Now you're talking about $200,000, right? So what we don't know, like you mentioned earlier, I think Gino mentioned earlier, there's some unknowns. So I ain't seen the fence to see what the repair looks like. But if somebody's looking at a small hole or whatever,
And then it's like, well, how do we fix this? Well, fixing it means you're gonna have to go to this other end, to this end, and are we doing a temporary solution where somebody can just cut this shit back open? You go through the hole. Are we going raw iron where it's gonna be $250,000, $200,000 or some astronomical number? Because those numbers like went sky high. Because we was looking during COVID to put a wrought iron fence around the area. Needless to say, because of funding, we settled on what they could afford, which was an $80,000 tall regular fence. Looks good aesthetically, but you can still cut it and do whatever. So who knows? And you know how that goes. Like budget wise, if you ain't got that in the budget for this year, that shit might.
And KG, you bring up an excellent point. And Rock, he's under the idea that when it comes to these universities, their whole thing, their whole goal is just to create a better situation for the football team. You know what I mean? Like, this is a college. He didn't say anything about the academics of the school. He didn't say anything about the needs of the school in regards to the students. He just brought attention to the areas that needed attention around the football team and around the track team and around things that were related to the football program. And KG is exactly right. It's not just as simple as hiring a couple of Mexicans and telling them, hey, knock that shit out over the weekend. You know what I mean? Like when the school is already barely meeting the financial needs of the students, you know what I mean? Money, their funding is exhausted. You know what I mean? I mean, we know that the government ain't funding a lot of these HBCUs, giving them the same checks that they're giving a lot of these PWIs. You know what I mean? And let's be honest, that the reason that the school went with someone like Ed Reed is because they knew that it would maybe attract investors. It might attract sponsors. It might bring some type of financial relief in areas in which they needed it. You know what I mean? So I mean, him going down like I said, him going down there like the ATU, the snooty ATU invite to Thanksgiving, putting everybody on blast. To me, just wasn't the route to go.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Well, let me say this. Now, this brings up another point you just bring up about the snooty auntie who comes to the house for Thanksgiving. Well, see, Ed Reed wasn't the snooty auntie that was coming home for Thanksgiving. He was the snooty auntie that was moving in to take care of Big Mama. He was going to use his resources, his access, and his influence to make a better situation for Big Mama. So guess what? When it's time to clean Big Mama's house, you're going to have to, everybody, it's all hands on deck. And that snooty auntie is going to also use her money to improve the house and make the house more accessible for Big Mama. You have to respect that circumstance because at that point, it's no longer Big Mama's house. It's snooty auntie's house and Big Mama's house. And you have to accept that. And when you come in with a partnership, when you have a partnership, you can't not then treat Ed Reed like a regular employee. Ed Reed is a special circumstance because he's coming in, bringing his influence, his connections, his influence to create a better situation for the students at Bethune Cookman and the football and the athletic department. That's why he's there. He's not there just to coach football. He's there to do so much more.
But Rocky, he tore him down though. Like in that first video when he was on the golf cart, you can't talk the university down in the midst of negotiation. There is there is some sort of professionalism that you have to have when you're about to be hired at this university. And he also mentioned about he don't have to be there.
Now, Gino, your Auburn education is showing how eloquent you are, how smart, and with all that decorum. But have you ever dealt with niggas? Have you ever dealt with niggas, Gino? Have you ever just dealt with niggas?
Exactly, Rob. Exactly, Rob. That's all.
Have you
That's
ever
what
dealt
my
with
face is like.
niggas?
It is, Rob.
Is that how you describing HBCUs, Rock, as a bunch of niggas?
Oh,
Come
no.
on, man.
I will.
You know better than
I'm
that,
proud
man.
to
You
do
know
Hey,
this.
I
better than
don't
that,
use that
man.
word. I
You
don't
know,
even use. I don't even. I
y'all
don't
ain't.
even use that word.
My point is, I generally don't use that word, but in this situation, if you've ever, put it like this: have you ever dealt with unruly black people, Gino?
Absolutely.
I still,
Plot twist.
with all due respect, man, I still wouldn't come off the way. Man, honestly, man, I don't say what I would do, but I just think the way he came off was just not right.
I have one issue with one of the things that Ed Reed said, and this is the issue I have, and it's trivial that he said it, but I wouldn't want anybody representing a company that I owned or was the president of. I wouldn't want any of my employees ever saying this. This motherfucker didn't even clean up my office before I came.
Yeah.
like
I know.
like,
I mean, I don't see no problem with it. I'm sorry.
But no.
No,
What
you're
I'm
right,
saying,
Rock. No, hey, we can agree on that, man. I thought I was
like, hey, man,
talking about the local people in the community. Like that's like your grandmama that's in there cleaning the office, man.
and so no, in the problem I had with it, that MF can be applied to the janitor, the president. It could be applied to anybody in that chain that could possibly be, Reggie Theus. So he offended way more people than he may have intended. He may have been talking about one motherfucker, but there's a whole group. Now the custodial staff is motherfuckers,
That's
and
right. Everybody get a
the
sticker.
environmental services
Everybody
is
get a motherfucking
motherfuckers.
sticker.
But
The
Rock, you don't
president.
think, hold on, Rock, you don't think he woke something up that we've seen being
No,
HBCU
no, man, Rock.
athletes? He woke something up. He made a call to action.
It wasn't an MF comment that woke people up.
No, that did too. But Rock, he started a conversation. He started a bigger conversation.
So D-Dub, so I understand Gino taking issue with that. But here's to your point, D-Dub, and I'll take a step back and let you guys expound on it. What a person's like Ed Reed's voice did, right? His voice rings out. And when the administration tried to do the same thing to him that they've done so many times before with the Alumni Association, with other student organizations who've tried to make complaints, like this is a systemic thing at Bethune-Cookman. So when they tried to smash down Ed Reed and push his complaints aside, and he spoke up, and then they tried to discard him from the campus, that's what made everybody join hands and say, we have no hope unless we join together, because even a powerful man like Ed Reed, they're not going to listen to him. We have no chance. And that's what has those kids down there at that campus protesting right now.
Yeah, right.
Conversation, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because you wake some shit up, that don't mean it turns on the money faucet. You know what I mean?
Say about money,
because it takes money to fix it. You know what I mean? Dion went to JSU, and he addressed a lot of the needs for JSU.
Let Dion go with them white folks. Leave Dion alone. He over there with them white folks.
I'm giving him his flowers. I'm giving him his flowers, right? He went down there and used a lot of his own influence with what was it? The damn shoe company and Walmart and the other, he used a lot of his own influence to make changes around that university, you know what I mean? And Dion didn't comment, like he understood the politics behind this, damn, the Django just came down there freaking blasting everybody, you know what I mean? Putting everybody on the street. And that's not gonna turn on the money faucet.
But Brent, them niggas knew what they were doing when they hired the Django. They didn't think they hired the Django. They knew what they were getting. They didn't look at it from all angles. They didn't think he was gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to time it for 2 seconds, right?
You got it. You got it, KG.
Who I went to Bethune? No. Raise your hand.
Oh, okay. Okay. I couldn't remember who. I was looking for somebody.
Keep applying pressure there. Keep applying pressure there. I didn't go to Bethune.
I did.
Just
Oh, you did? Oh,
right. Ed Reed, the best safety ever in school history in NFL to ever play safety, right?
Absolutely.
You got Bethune.
You breaking up really bad, Toxic.
You drowning, my guy.
I don't know what you're doing about this Dion shit. You riding the coattail or what you got going on?
Toxic.
Yeah, Toxic. You gonna have to
turn the Wi-Fi off.
KG, what did you want to say? Didn't you have something?
Yeah. Damn. Before I lose it. Let me see. Damn. Before I lose. Damn. I almost left. Okay. All right. So a couple things I wanted to elevate. So we said when he went on live, I think, and because he addressed this, sure, his publicist wrote it or whatever, but it still spoke to what made him go on live. I think that he went on live, apparently went on live, because he was responding to other folk, to whoever's, the social media that was coming at him about certain shit. So now he done got out of pocket addressing somebody on social media for calling everybody motherfuckers. Right? I'm addressing you because you telling me I'm over here, carrying on, I'm do. So now I got to address you, but now I'm offending everybody else while I'm addressing this one person. That's one thing. The second thing is, while I was talking about the fence, going back to that, the fence thing. So that fence was actually paid for by HBCU. That was a Tuskegee project that I was working on. So anyway, and the last thing, the trigger, what triggers folks. So Rock, if you could pull up that video on Twitter, and so what the sister said, DW, about they knew who they were getting when they hired him. So we'll look at this Twitter post real quick.
You took the words right out of my mouth, KG.
Yeah.
Even though he got on Bama.
Walking around here.
There's another one.
Okay, turn rewind it. You can kind of see what the text says too.
Because we got volunteer firemen walking around here cleaning up after grown men. Right? My locker, your locker, is 2 feet from the garbage can. You come off, cut your tape off your ankles, your wrists, and instead of you throwing it in the garbage can, where you throw it at? On the floor. I'm like, listen, guys, this is the little things, man. Pick up your towel. You walking out, the dirty bin is right there when you walk out. Why you leaving that towel in there for somebody else to come in there and clean up? I did it myself because I didn't want the firemen to have to look at my nasty ass teammates' towels and have to pick them up all the time. That's all the teammates that can vouch for that. And they can vouch for this story because it's true. Super Bowl year. We ain't winning it if y'all don't do the little things.
And did you sense a shift?
We started to come together even more so. I said, we're going to the Super Bowl in New Orleans and we're winning. Because we got...
So that's it there. So as you can see there, this is Ed Reed before, you know what I'm saying, being hired. So you can see right there, he has a hang up. He may be OCD or whatever. So you talk about a place being trashy. For somebody that got a hang up, you see this nigga was like, he's snapping like, yo, y'all can't put y'all strapped in the damn garbage can. Y'all want other people to clean it up. So he came there with that. That chip was already on the show. Absolutely. You come into a situation, it don't take you long. If that unit got triggered, now I got this dude at me on social media talking about I'm there for this, that, and the other. Now I'm snapping.
And let me say that, and let me just say this right quick. That man was raised by somebody. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I totally agree. I was Ed Reed. I totally agree. I am that. I totally agree with him with that. He's right. He's 100% right when he said what he just said. The only thing is, it's a way you do everything. You can't go and just be cussing people out because they're not doing it. You develop a plan. You develop a plan, you develop a agenda. It's a way you talk to people in order for them to influence them to do what you want them to do as a leader. He's right. It's the little things. It's the little things that brings on success.
But Gino, I think you would agree that everybody's leadership style is different, and I've been in situations in the military where I've had leaders who were like you, very pragmatic, very calculated, very courteous in the way that they delivered their message, and very matter of fact. But I've also had leaders that dealt with situations the same way Ed Reed dealt with them, and they were just as effective as people who had decorum and who were pragmatic and deliberate in addressing those issues. So I think both leadership styles can work, and I think that's what we're talking about. The language in and of itself, I don't think Bethune Cookman can really say anything about that, because at their homecoming they had Trick Daddy and Rick Ross performing, so they know what curse words and all that kind of stuff is. So I don't think the language is a problem. I think how he addressed the administration or whoever he was talking about when he said MFs are the problem. And then, but it's not, to me, that didn't make the situation beyond repair. That's just something that you could come to Ed Reed and say, hey, we're not going to be too many more MFs, man, if you want to work here.
And Rock, you said the N word earlier, right? When you were referring to the HBCUs. And when you compare Ed Reed to someone like Deion Sanders, do you think with that style of delivery, with that style of leadership, you know what I mean? Maybe the administration would have been willing to listen, sit down with him. But do you think that style of tact that he used, maybe he wasn't communicating effectively with them, to the extent, he could have got stuff done. Sometimes, yeah.
So what I will say is this. They had problems when Deion was doing, look at it here, baby. Look at this here. Look at this grass over here. This grass need cutting, baby. We just need somebody to come cut this grass, baby. They had problems with that too. Like they had problems with Deion pointing out the grass, showing them the grass. They had a problem with that too. And of course they're gonna have problems with Ed Reed cussing them out. But my point is saying that is, I don't think, and this is where Deion's personality really helped him out. I don't think HBCUs are built for straight shooters. Like straight shooters, I don't think they work well in HBCUs. Because if you're brutally honest,
not a straight shooter though.
Who?
But Rock, there's a such thing as lead. There's a thing. There's a thing.
When Ed Reed has never been one of those dudes that's held his tongue about anything.
Bruh, what I'm saying is, when I say a straight shooter, I'm talking about a professional straight shooter. You can't.
No, I'm talking about somebody who's going to be blunt and direct. I'm sorry if you didn't get my.
You can't get on social media and talk about the people that's hiring you. That's not being a straight shooter. That's not a straight shooter.
But Gino, do you think that? And I just know that a lot of ADs and coaches and stuff, HBCU, stay there forever. They somebody cousin, somebody auntie, somebody uncle, somebody went there a long time ago. Them folks don't never leave. They like a pack. They like a cult sometimes. And even if he went to them as a straight shooter, they still got the board of directors on them. They ain't gonna listen to nothing Ed got to say. Maybe Ed went to them. We never thought about that part. Maybe Ed went to them, brought their grievances to them, and they still was like, we know what, we ain't got the money, we ain't gonna do this, so screw Ed. You know what I'm saying? And maybe this is the only reason why, only way Ed can get somebody to listen to him and hear him is by being extra and put it on social media. Well, he woke the conversation up. Yeah, he ain't got no tact. They know he ain't no tact in Coop before they hired him. You can Google his videos on YouTube and see he ain't no.
Absolutely.
Let me give you
he ain't Deion. He never was Deion.
But Rock, you spoke about leadership, Rock. It's something called leading by example. You know what I mean? And Deion, he was on that damn. No, Deion was on that lawnmower cutting the field himself.
And Ed Reed was picking up trash out there too. So again, let's not make this a debate about leadership. Let me tell you what poor leadership is. Poor leadership is when you have a board of directors at Bethune-Cookman and the Alumni Association asks for transparency and a full external audit of the books, and then the board of directors then responds with a cease and desist letter and decertifies the Alumni Association. That's what poor leadership is. Poor leadership is a man on the board by the name of Mr. Perry who when he was on the board when the president's office came up open 3 years ago. He submitted his application to be president for Bethune-Cookman, right? And he was a sitting board member. That's highly inappropriate. Highly inappropriate.
Man, you can say that about HBCU, but it's PWIs, man, who are funded, like have all types of money. You talking about a school that don't get a lot of money. Okay, the issue, I mean, okay, the microscope will be on them, but if you look at PWIs, they just, I mean,
what do they have to do with this conversation, Gino?
Is it because it's what you just said?
No. What I'm saying is that's poor leadership. Why do we have to bring PWIs in the conversation? That's poor leadership. What just happened? The chairman Perry now, I think he's the chairman of the board now. The reason why they still after 3 years they still have an interim president because they don't want to give somebody a long-term contract, because I still think the guy has hopes that he could someday beat the Bethune-Cookman's president. This is the thing that's happening at Bethune-Cookman. These are the things that are being exposed as, by the minute.
He ain't even signed his contract yet. He couldn't put them benchmarks in his contract if he felt so, if he felt so. Yeah. I mean, he couldn't write this stuff into his contract.
I think this was a shotgun wedding. It was rushed into. They wanted to hurry up and get it done because the school had things that they didn't want to divulge about them. And there was things about Ed Reed that they didn't understand. I'll tell you this. If you're really going to hire Ed Reed is largely a low-profile guy. He's never done a lot of media. He's never been a very media savvy, if you ask me. But the things that I've seen Ed Reed do in public, and this is the man that this summer I sat down and had drinks with at a bar in Las Vegas. Super cool, down-to-earth guy. But whenever he's in front of the camera, he is not camera savvy. He's not media savvy. He's telling you like it is. He's the same guy that I sat across the table from, and had drinks with. He's just a straight-up dude, and he don't mince words.
That's why he shouldn't be head coach for Bethune.
What is that, Gino?
So let me jump in there right quick. Because I've been listening and stuff, and me and my brother Gino, we had a conversation earlier today with our dad, and he know my stance on it. I think that their administration dropped the ball on who they hired. I think that they should have vetted a little bit better, but I think they tried to take on the primetime approach and get a guy and didn't know how passionate he was. If they would have done their research, they would have seen that Ed Reed, he's not polished like that. Primetime been in the media for the past 15 years. He know how to address. He don't cuss. He's a very religious man. You see what I'm saying? And I think that but Ed Reed, but it's a difference though.
Yeah.
Ed Reed's passion is a little bit different than primetime passion. You can tell in his exit video that he don't know how to control himself when he talking. I mean, bro, we just had a conversation today about you saying that he gave the kid his wallet and said that he had a condom in it.
JJ.
Hey.
But JJ, yeah.
So you
He
telling me
surveyed the campus for 25 days. He could have had all that stuff beautifully written in his contract. His contract is contingent on these things happening on campus. You know what I mean? He surveyed the campus. He didn't have to go in. And if they didn't agree to it, he could have walked from it. He didn't have to blast the whole university, the board, the administration.
But Brent, listen to me, Brent. He don't have leadership like that, bro.
He wasn't coming
for
for the bullshit.
Like to tell him, like he hey, look, Ed Reed reminds me of me and my brother and my cousin up there, junior high football coach, Greg Weststone.
Thank you.
That's what he reminded me.
I didn't want to say that.
A dude that ain't gonna hold his tongue. He gonna slap us across the head. You know what I'm saying? He gonna cuss us out. He gonna tell us to put our dick in the dirt. And he's that type of guy. And,
which is all
and he feels like
he'll tell you.
But I'm saying, bro, me and you, Dre, you know what I'm saying, and KG, we come from the west side of Montgomery. This is how football coaches are. Ed Reed is that type of football coach. He's not a college polished football coach. He comes straight from the NFL. He comes straight from the streets of Florida to the NFL, and he got a job. You know what I'm saying? But I think that gave this man a chance. You know what I'm saying? To get it right, he would have got better.
Well, the problem with that, JJ, is that what he did on social media is kind of scaring away investors. It's scaring away potential students, you know what I mean, from the university. And they can't take a risk with
the
this.
Truth will do that.
Well, what I'm saying, you gotta look at it from a business aspect as well, though, Rock. They can't take a risk with this cannon, you know what I mean? This cannon.
Now you're using that white folks language to describe black
all
men.
Saying,
see, I don't like that.
No. All I'm saying, Rock, is what he did was bad publicity for the school. Now, if every time something doesn't go his way, every time he does, something's not done, he goes this path to air it out. That's bad publicity for the school. And like I said, his contract hadn't been signed yet. He couldn't negotiate all this in the midst of his negotiation. So they can't. Right? JJ just said, if they gave him time, maybe everything they wanted came into fruition. But at the same time, he is coming at a depreciation rate for the school. You know what I mean? Because there's so much bad publicity out there coming out about the school. It's scaring away potential students. It's scaring away potential investors. You know what I mean? So, it's a lose-lose situation.
Ed Reed is one of these guys and I happen to know a few of these guys that are like this, right? They're great guys. They're great at what they do. They probably operate at the top 1% efficiency, right? But when it comes to public speaking or addressing issues, they just need someone else to do that on their behalf, right? Right. I think he would be a hell of a coach. But he's not a public relations guy. He's not a public affairs. And the school would probably do themselves a great service by having someone close to him at all times to address those kind of things.
Bro, just because he's a Hall of Famer, and I really believe this, he's a Hall of Fame player, he's the best at his position, doesn't mean that he will be a great head coach.
You don't think so?
I know so. You can look at the numbers, man. Just because he's great, he was a great player, doesn't mean that he will be a great head coach. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. He just showed us that.
I think what I think what he just
I
did
would
had
have to
nothing to do.
disagree with you on that, Gino.
Well, yeah, I think what he did had nothing to do with coaching. And I think, to be perfectly honest with you, great Hall of Fame players aren't great head coaches because they don't get
I'm not saying
opportunities.
that great Hall of Fame players are not great head coaches. I'm saying just because that you're a great Hall of
Yeah. I could again. I can completely agree with you there, but that also doesn't. But he has a better resume than me. You know, being a second team high school player. You know what I mean? He's got a better chance of being being an effective college coach than somebody who never played the game. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I agree with you, but that doesn't mean like to be a great head coach, man. Like you can't go into a team meeting talking like that. You can't go on social media. It's just some type of wisdom that you have to have. Like you have to be good in talking with people. Ed Reed never coached. He never been head coach at a team before. Like it showed us.
I know you played at the highest level, bro, and I certainly respect your input on these kind of subjects, right? And I don't mean to diminish it, right? But you gotta know that at the end of the day, bedside manner and decorum ain't got shit to do with playing football.
It does. It does. Bro, you got to be able to deliver a message.
All right, we got a call on the line. Caller, you on the second? We got a call if you ready to take it, JJ.
You finished talking, bro?
Yeah.
Hey, caller, you live on the air with the Sexy Cigar Lounge. What's your name and where you calling from? Hey, caller, you live on the air. What's your name and where you calling from? I guess they just listen. All right. We don't have. I'm not getting anything from them. Caller, you're live on the air, caller.
They not saying nothing.
Yes, he sleep.
Okay. Now I got it. My bad. Hey, caller, you're live on the air with the Sexy Cigar Lounge. What's your name and where you calling from? Go ahead. Go ahead, caller. You're live on the air.
We can't hear them, Rock, if they talking.
No, they not saying. Yeah, I can hear you.
That must be Ed Reed calling in.
There must be an Alabama fan.
No, it's Nick Saban calling.
Hey, can y'all hear it now?
No.
Y'all can't hear?
No, but I mean, maybe you take it might be in your ear, Rock, and we don't hear it. You think it might be a problem? Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the Sexy Cigar Lounge. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. Make sure if you're watching now that you share this and like it and follow for more.
So I can hold on. Let me fix this.
While Uncle Rock gets this together. If you're watching on Facebook,
you don't hear nobody else, is what you're saying.
Okay, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms.
No. I got you. We just having technical difficulty. This is live. This is live on air. So just give me 1 minute and call right back, bro. I got you.
All right, Tasha, you want to say something, Tasha?
I'm Gucci now, right?
Your Wi-Fi off, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We can hear you, Toxic.
I got some pink too. Hey, who I went to Bethune Cookman? Raise their hand. Just me? Okay, cool. Ed Reed, you got us fucked up. I'm alumni. You got us fucked up. Go play with your mammy. Cause I don't give a fuck about you being a Hall of Famer. You ain't never been no head coach though. Not even at the HBCU level. You was a wide receiver coach, a DB coach. I mean, at the U. And I love Ed Reed. I don't like him. I love him. Great dude. Stop playing with my school, man. You ain't gotta. If you care so much, who he told to get the camera and hold this while I do this? Who thought That was a good idea for him to say, "Hey, hold this camera, bro. I'm finna put their ass on blast. You ain't got a check from us yet, bro. You got business on the streets like that."
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I gotta get some shit. I got some stuff together. Hold on.
Okay, well, Tox, I got a question for you. You know, I got a plot twist always.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can this AD, this light skinned green eye nigga, coach football? Can he coach?
Who are AD? They ain't his job. That's not his job.
Wait, he ain't got no coach right now. You think he can coach? Who gonna come behind that BS he started? So what coach gonna come?
Plenty coach. Everybody want an opportunity. What you mean?
What they want to do?
Hold on, I don't understand who she talking about. I mean, who are you talking about?
I guess it's about the AD for Cookman.
The AD that Avery was talking about in this video said he was gonna coach a team, the basketball player. The old dude that said he's gonna coach basketball. The basketball player. The AD is a basketball coach, played NBA and all that stuff, right? Is he gonna coach the football team now?
No, I'm gonna hire somebody who can coach him.
I'm sorry, I can't see your name.
DW, it's DW.
D-Dub.
Who gonna coach him?
Well, I'll say this. There's a lot of alumni. There's a lot of alumni that played at HBCUs have been successful, and you can get them. Like, it's a lot of people that are competent to be head coaches that they probably was pushed back to get Ed Reed, which I think was a great idea. But for what Ed Reed did, you can't allow that to come to your university the way he disrespected that university like that. You just can't allow that. It's just like
so bro, you know,
that shit be hitting.
I said, little bro, it's JJ would call you. I'm calling JJ to call you little bro. Would you go coach at Bethune with your expertise?
Well, honestly, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't. I mean, like, I'm not trying to coach, but if I was,
would you? If you wanted to, would you? If you had the opportunity, would you?
Hey, can you hear me now, bro?
I would.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
I would, because I would go.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring you in a second.
Rock do this a lot. Just keep going.
I would, but I would go in with a passion for HBCUs and my people, though. Like, I'm just a different person like that. Like, I would go in understanding the history behind the HBCUs. I would go in understanding that my resources and the people that I know that can bring in funding to help that university, the same way Deion Sanders was the same way Deion Sanders was doing, that would be my approach. I was excited about Deion Sanders, but I also understand why Deion Sanders moved on to Colorado too.
Absolutely.
Like, two things can be true. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I get why Deion Sanders moved on, and I get why he did what he did with Jackson State.
All right, now they call your name. Don't say
Mary McLeod Bethune started that school in 1906 with $1.50.
Oh God, he's giving us the history of Bethune. Who's 1886? Okay,
it's relevant. It's relevant.
We got a caller on Toxic. Whenever you're ready. Whenever
that caller ain't more important than Mary McLeod Bethune. But go ahead, caller.
I think she's from South Carolina, but I'm gonna go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish. No, finish. No, I want you. No, I want you to finish your statement because it is kind of related. So go ahead and finish what you were saying about the $1.50, and I'm gonna tell you how much money that they got.
We don't need the whole.
No. I was just saying she started with $1.50. It was a girls' school. It was an all-girls school. They make you learn this shit at freshman orientation.
Mm-hmm.
And the grind that she put in, I went to the school 4 years. That school wasn't perfect. That shit was, it was dirty. It had a little, but guess who they accepted? They accepted ex-cons. It was niggas fresh out of prison. Came to that school. They accepted everybody. They were then though. Nigga had open charges. They gave you a chance to better yourself. It ain't about no motherfucking trash. Clean that shit up, because that's the case. They could have got all them goddamn custodians they got, and go clean that shit up. But really, they could have did a better job and had that shit ready before he got there. But my question for him is, why didn't he tour the school before he got there? Or before we did a verbal contract? Like, what's going on there?
They agreed in principle. They agreed in principle that he was going to be the next head coach of Bethune-Cookman.
Sound like a mail-in bride to me.
Yeah, Toxic. He ain't even signed his contract before he was down there whooping niggas like the Django.
You know what I'm saying? Let the caller speak.
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Can I interject some facts? Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I just like to say hello to everybody on the panel. Thank you for opening up this platform for others to come in and express their opinion. I'm black. I love black people. I'm from Louisiana. I grew up 30 minutes from Grambling. So, I'm not unfamiliar with the HBCU culture. So let me interject facts, because everybody got feelings, emotions, and points of views that can be different and influenced by their experiences. So I'm going to just, and you can go and fact test this, you can Google while I'm talking, and if you go and look at the Biden administration HBCU funding bill for 2022. So here's the facts. We're talking about numbers. I'm glad you brought up $1.50. So $2.7 billion were given to HBCUs, not all of them, but a list of them, most of them in Florida and Georgia. 2.7 billion with a B, last year, 2022. That's 12 months. So FAMU got 100 million, and Bethune-Cookman got 33 million. Can you tell me where it went, since we're talking money?
Oh, you want me to answer that?
Hello?
I can help you answer that. That's my school.
Anybody that can.
No, I'm gonna help you. Say that's my school. I got first-hand knowledge. I went there 4 years, right? They stealing. I ain't never said they wasn't. They stealing. But guess what? That's all HBCU and PWIs as well.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. You helping me to my next point. Now,
have to do with this?
If you Google now, no, I didn't mention nothing about white.
No, he was talking about me. He was talking about me. Trying to be. He been facetious.
Okay. So to go back to the facts. So if you look at that administration notice, that statement from the White House talking about HBCUs, how Kamala Harris and Biden got together and they decided to choose a list of people to be assigned to the National HBCU Board of Advisors.
Oh.
Board of Advisors. There's school advisors and board of trustees, but then there's a national HBCU school of advisors. See, those are the people who put the crooks in the position. That's why the students ain't getting the money. See, I'm gonna show you where the stealing is coming from. So tell me why Taraji P. Henson is on that board.
Because she's black.
Remember Cookie from Empire?
And she went to Howard. And she
graduated
from
black.
She's
black.
She's black. She went to HBCU.
But there's a lot of black people in Hollywood that you could have picked that would have been, more suitable for that. At least somebody who went to a HBCU.
She did go to HBCU.
I bring all that up to say this. Did she? Okay, I stand corrected. They didn't have all of her bio in there. They just had a list of
But hey, Colin, let's put this in perspective. They just didn't write a $33 million check to Bethune-Cookman. You get what I'm saying? And you know how federal money works. You have to show where that money is going to receive that money. They just don't write you a check. You know what I mean?
See, they play games. They play games with numbers. So whenever it's time the government say they award you something, award is like a picture of a check. That's what an award is, right? When they say they paid something,
they got the money.
No.
They got the money.
Listen what I'm saying.
This ain't opinion. This fact, bro.
No. This is what I'm saying, bro. Did they disperse the $333 million to Bethune-Cookman? Because when you say it was awarded to them, It can be, you can award $33 million to somebody and then pay it out over 33 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to be
Let me
careful
ask
about
you
the
this.
word
When
award.
Florida, when did Florida, what was that, Florida International, they went to Southern and played? Or
Florida
I may be
Memorial.
saying the name wrong.
Florida Memorial.
Florida
Memorial.
When the hell did they start traveling? And where did they get their funding from? They got money too. Norfolk, all of these places, all of these schools that otherwise were in the dumps.
Hey, Colin, we trying to wrap up the show. Can you connect this to Ed Reed in some kind of way, or we gonna have to let you go, brother?
Hey, thanks for calling in. Hey, check this out, bro.
Ed Reed?
Yeah.
Ed Reed did the exact same thing Deion did.
All right.
He's exposing the truth. And Ed Reed gonna be okay. But BCU and the rest of these HBCUs going down.
All right, man. That was my man.
You sound happy about that.
Hey, let me say this here though, Rob. Let me say this here though.
Go ahead. Let me pot him down. I'll pot him down and let you speak.
Let me say this here, Rob. What I don't like. I'm HBCU to the death of me. I love them. I love everything about it. It groomed me. It sharpened my teeth. It's camaraderie. It's everything, right? It's in me. I wouldn't have took no other road, right? But what I don't like is, right, but HBCU as a whole, not just Cookman. HBCU, they don't like people in their business. They like to steal in peace. I'm gonna say they like to steal in peace. I'm gonna tell you right, cause what school in Atlanta? Morris Brown or one of them schools?
Brown, Clark
no,
Atlanta,
I think it was Clark. One of them, they was out of there. It might have been Morehouse.
They just opened back up last year, and
But guess what they could have did? They could have been open. Only thing Chick-fil-A told them, we'll give y'all $100 million. We want to watch y'all books though. Cause y'all fucked up watching y'all books. We want to watch y'all books. They decline. They don't want nobody in it. They want to steal in peace, bro. It's an external. It's a problem, bro. But we know it as students. We just love the school so much in the pride.
Let me ask you this, Toxic. Who should, since HBCUs don't want to be accountable to the media, they don't want to be accountable to the government, and they don't want to be accountable to their own alumni, who should they be accountable to?
The students, and the students shouldn't go there if that is known in public information. The students shouldn't go there.
Okay, at 18, let me be honest. I went to a private school, right? It was a private Episcopalian Black HBCU, right? They didn't answer to the state. It was a privately funded school.
Cookman was private too.
Yeah, right. That's before you became university. You went there
right.
when I was a college when we became university. My
right.
thing is, you got to understand, they don't answer to nobody but the church at certain times. We got to go deeper this. When this old man, I'm sorry, the serve that woke it up earlier said, when the government gave that funding out, they got to go through and give a period of performance. Yeah, they can give you $85 million, but they can give you $85 million you can spend over a certain period of performance time. They ain't got to spend that $85 million in 1 year or this year. They can spend that $85 million over a period of time, and they can show how they spend it and break it down. Unless you get audited, they're not really checking for this stuff. Let's keep it above. Half of us work in the government industry. We know how it works. You're not going to get audited unless you're doing some crooked or shady stuff. Now, Bethune, for instance, may get audited now because Ed is bringing this up. And they may rise questions and conversations, like I said earlier, for other HBCUs that are publicly funded schools now, not in the private sector. Now they can accept that money. Now I got access to your books. I can look through your stuff now because you're part of the state. Now you're a university. You're not a college. You're not under a church covenant. You're under our money. So I can go and audit y'all at any time and ask you, how was this money spending? What was this funding going to? How much went to the athletic department? How much went to scholarships? How much went to this? But before, you didn't have these questions asked. Now that Ed and Deion is waking this stuff up on university side, it's kind of like now that we need to audit these HBCUs. I paid $350 every semester I was in school. Still don't know where that money went to this day, and I graduated what? A long time ago. I ain't gonna tell my age. A long time ago. I don't know where that $350 went. I go to home every year, and the same bookkeeper is at the gate when I go there. Hey, Miss O'Berry, where my book money? You got my refund check, got my meal money for the game. She's like, get your going. I get up my way somewhere. The money ain't ready yet because it's an ongoing joke now because we don't know where that money's actually going. We don't know what that money's for. Graduated, got all these student loans. We don't know. So I think Ed, again, opened these conversations up to ask, where's our money going? Where is it going? Where is it at? Because if I went back to I was going to apply to teach at my college when I got my master's. They offered me $45,000. I say, sir, I can't live in Atlanta with that money. I make more than that as a regular teacher, regular elementary school teacher. Why would I go back to get to my HBCU and that's all you're gonna offer me? But I know what I paid to go there per semester. Where's the money going? You ain't built no extra dorms. You ain't did nothing extra. So therefore, questions arise. So Ed has got those questions coming up now, asking folks, well, why we ain't got no practice field at this point?
Ask me in private.
No, when I'm saying it was a college, therefore it became a university in 04. I think it was 04, 07. I did my research, Washington.
Why you got my business out there? You mess like a woman. Why you got my shit out there though?
Go to a PWI. They got all the business out there.
Well, we ain't got their money. We ain't even got their money structured. So I don't want to compare to them.
But Toxic, what I will say,
Toxic, they don't keep their money in banks.
Last time an external audit was requested, they ended up filing a lawsuit against their own alumni association and attempting to decertify their chapter. Like that's how they responded to the request for an internal audit from their own alumni association. They're not about transparency at all, in my opinion.
Of course not. And I'm gonna tell you another secret too. I went to Bethune homecoming 3 years ago. I went to that homecoming, JJ.
Hold on, hey, real fast. Hey, we're gonna wrap it up with the last comments. So Tasha, go ahead and get your comments and we're gonna go around the board and we're gonna
I went to Bethune homecoming 3 years ago, right? I ain't been that shit since I left that shit. Seen all my dogs and shit. They like, boy, you know the rumor. What's the rumor? Boy, they about to shut this shit down. Like what? Like Morris Brown? Fuck going on? We got 5 niggas in the league that was in school with me. Like, they got money there, but they don't mean that they giving back money because they went there. But they like, man, they been stealing. Who? Everybody. Like, it's the word. We know what's going on, but I don't got the answer how to stop it now. It been going on, but it go on everywhere. I don't want HBCUs to get highlighted for just. I know you bring somebody in, they gonna look at it as you in my business now. It's a problem. I don't got the answer. But we know what's going on. But Cookman ain't no dirty ass school. Get it out your mind. It ain't no dirty school. Shit clean. They got honors dorm. They just built the science building like 2 years ago. The shit clean. To be in the middle of the hood. They trying, bro. I don't know what to say. I'm good. I said what I had to say. Keep Cookman name out your mouth. God damn it. That's my school.
BW, what you got for your last comment?
As a former coach, as a former athlete, I think Ed could have had a little more couth than what he said and how he did it. Wasn't professional, but I think it opened some eyes. It woke some stuff up, and therefore it's going to be further discussions going on after this. Don't agree how Ed did it, his professionalism, and any of that stuff, but again, a lot of stuff is going to wake up now, and a lot of questions going to be asked from government funding and all type of stuff on all levels of colleges and universities, not just HBCUs. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, on Facebook, we got a Facebook group, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everything, and make sure you follow everybody on this that's on this live now. Thanks guys for coming out. It's not our regular visitors, and we appreciate y'all giving us y'all input. Shout out y'all, not the dude in the Alabama hat. Go Dogs. And make sure you follow at The Real DW on all social media platforms. That's all for me, JJ.
KG, hey, y'all. This is my best friend, man. We've been friends for over 20 years, man. It's my dog, my brother. I love him to death, man. What you got to say, man?
God bless you.
Cool. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
So I echo what DW said. I think I don't agree with how every, delivered the message. Also go and say that, what Rock said, how the issue initially started, maybe there's a communication, maybe the communication should have been better from the office. He probably felt the way when, trying to get the stuff done, and then folks kind of looking at it, maintenance folks looking like, hey, we ain't got to do that shit. So there's some decorum or whatever that could have taken place, or better communication could have been taking place on both sides before you even got set off. Nonetheless, I don't agree with how we did it, but I think it's necessary that we do hold our institutions accountable. And I can't say, yeah, we're still in private, boo, boo, boo. No, because if we looking for black excellence, damn what the PWI is doing. Shit, they can if somebody's stealing over there, they got enough funding to override that shit. Somebody's stealing from our ass, we ain't got that. You know what I'm saying? We already on the ground. So now now you want to take the roof off my head and let it rain on me for the sake of you getting your coins. I don't agree with that. So I think we have to hold folks accountable. You have to hold institutions, higher learning, let that shit be back. Like my man said, back when Mary McLeod Bethune started it, like there was an excellence, there was a purpose. So we have to go back to that shit, and we have to hold our folks accountable. So that's what I feel about it.
Yes, sir. My little brother, Gino, what you guys say, man, for the last for your last comments?
I won't. Everybody's saying so far is basically what I want to say, so I won't repeat it, man. Just like my brother, that's the alumni from Bethune Cookman, man. I totally agree with you, brother. It's good to hear you, Doug. Absolutely, I totally agree with you, KG. Everything y'all said is what I want to say, man. I appreciate y'all having me. And even with Ed Reed as our people, I love Ed Reed, respect him. He's gonna rise from this. We can't give up on our people. I have much respect for him. I think he's gonna overcome this. In this situation, he was wrong, but I'm not gonna give up on him. I still support him. I'm still for him 100%. And that's it.
All right, that's my brother, y'all. Saint Brent, what you got, bro?
Hey, appreciate it, JJ, and I want to thank the guests on for coming on tonight's show. We had a lot of fun with y'all tonight, and I never went to a HBCU like Toxic, but I did work for a shitty cable company. Was my first job when I got out the military, and they used to tell us do more with less. They gave us very little tools to work with, and we were sadly underpaid. You know what I mean? But I made the choice to go work for another company. Rock had asked earlier, who should hold Bethune Cookman accountable? The students. The students shouldn't go there. You know what I mean? But Toxic brought up an interesting point. Sometimes that's the only place you can go. That's the only place that will accept you. You know what I mean? And you sometimes have to, deal with the roaches and the damn chitlins in the kitchen and all that just to further your education. So, it's a double-edged sword to a lot of this. And, Ed Reed did what he had to do. Sound like the relationship between him and Bethune Cookman was a bad marriage. Neither one knew what they were getting. And, that's just how it played out. But great show. Follow Saint_Brown on all social media platforms. Back to you, JJ.
Appreciate it, man. Rocky, what you got, man?
Hey, man, I kind of want, first off, I want to say thank you for having me again, JJ, and thank our guests for joining, specifically KG and Gino, man. Thank y'all for jumping on. We really had a great time, and you guys added great value to the conversation. What I kind of wanted to say is talk about what Brent just said, right? He said just a marriage going bad. I think this was a shotgun wedding. This was a rushed marriage of two people who didn't know enough about one another to make the decision. They went to the altar. They were getting married. They spent the night together and didn't realize that he snored and her feet stank. And when they realized that,
I agree.
Neither one of them realized, she didn't want to wash her feet and he didn't want to get a CPAP. And so when you have situations like that, it just won't work when neither one of them is willing to compromise. So
Absolutely.
That's what I'd like to say, man. Thank y'all. thank everybody for coming on again. It really was a great conversation. You
great
can follow
analogy.
me.
Yeah, man.
Rocky Milk.
Man.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
Go ahead,
I
Rock.
was just going to say, just follow me on all social media platforms, Rocky Miller 1. Hey, I got a big show coming tomorrow on Off Script channel. Just Google Off Script. It's Under Further Review is the name of the show, man. I'll be talking about the Dallas Cowboys, also reviewing what's going on with Ed Reed and making my picks for this weekend's championship games.
Can I do a part of the statement before you go out, Jay?
Hey, bro. Oh, hold on. Hey, before I give my final comment, KG, did you want to plug anything? Cause hey, this my best friend, man. Dude got a lot going on, bro. He got a lot going on. I'm proud of him, man.
I hope he come back, JJ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wait, hold on. Time out,
Okay.
y'all. Time out.
Now, like me and him need to do some music together, JJ.
Time out, y'all. My daddy just commented in the comment. My daddy is on the show, man.
That's your daddy. That's your daddy, JJ.
That's your daddy.
The original.
On the show, man.
James,
Hey, what's up, Dad?
All right, thank you,
Yeah,
Mr.
man.
Thank you, Mr. James, for joining us.
man.
We certainly
Mr.
appreciate
James
it, man.
right there, Mr. James.
And one of your boys turned out really well, and I let you decide who that is.
He ain't gonna say which one.
Hey,
He's gonna leave that one out there.
hey, Tasha, hey, Rock, go to hell. Hey,
I just want to give a part and statement, man. Hey, I know y'all ain't seen me in a while. It's the internet thing, but I'm gonna be more consistent. But I want to thank y'all boys for coming on. Hey, I want to thank my mama for having me, and I want to thank myself. Listen, I want to thank myself for picking a great school like Bethune Cookman College. And listen, the Bible, Deuteronomy, chapter 8. I'm trying to keep a straight face. You're making me laugh, bro. I'm serious. Hey, nah, I'm there, bullshit. Hey, I'm
sorry. I'm at my age. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to be serious. Let me put serious on. Hey, nah, though.
Let him use
He said what he said. He said what he said. I understand, but I guess from me seeing him on TV, he passionate. I understand his passion, but it was just the way to do it. And what he said was not wrong. He did not lie on the school. I think that's the way he could have said it. Cause you still got people that love that school and their grandma and their great grandmas went there. It's like a pride thing. You could have said it better. Like we can have sex, but don't hit me with what you about to do.
How many
don't just do me like that.
How many different ways to say your feet stink? How many?
Say it in Spanish. Say it in Spanish. I don't know. Don't just embarrass me like that, though. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all, man, all platforms, but don't follow me. Follow God. Go ahead, Jay.
Hey, KG, did you have anything you wanted to plug right quick?
Who you talking to, Jay? Me? You talking to me?
Yeah. You.
Oh, nah. Well, you know, my social media is cool. Slick Gilchrist on all social media. I usually kind of disperse from there. I'm a filmmaker, run an arts organization. I'm big into arts, culture, and community. So yeah, so that's it. That's all I got.
JJ, sound like he don't want to tell us. Can you tell us, JJ?
No, that's how he is, man.
That's the high points.
I just wanted to say.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
That's how he is, man. I just wanted to say this, man. I want to thank my brother, my best friend, my cousin coming on my show. I feel super honored. Also, man, I just wanted to say, black people, why we always got to be silent, man? Why we always got to, you know what I'm saying, take the mediocre situation, man? Why we can't be passionate about what we feel is right, bro? And my brother give me a thumbs down, but at the same time, bro, he know he know that we went to one of the poorest schools in Montgomery, and we had junior high football pads playing in high school sports. So
I know.
and we had drug dealers, as football coaches. So
Hey, we went to
don't
McDonald's
try
every
to
week,
act
though.
exactly.
JJ, they wasn't hiding weed in the locker room, was
Our
they?
football team.
Bro, we went to McDonald's
They
every
were
week,
doing
bro.
drug
Don't
deals.
complain.
They were doing drug deals during practice. They were doing drug deals during practice, man. Hey, I just want to thank everybody for watching, man. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate my crew being on. And I thank y'all, man. And stay tuned for the next show, man.
Oh my God!
Hey,
Peace
bro.
out.
Hey, bro. I was giving a thumbs down to Dubs with that the Georgia Cubby Cup holder.
Oh.
He holding 2 championships right now, but I'm gonna go on mute.
What'd you say?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all,
All right,
man. And peace out.
Peace.